Seht ihr mich? Versteht ihr mich?
I did make two videos recently about ORIS, one of course about the new Calibre 400 and another one about the new introduced Aquis with the Calibre 400. As well, the watch is now available and was bought, so there's the first feedback online. Are there any problems with the movement and what is my opinion about this? Let's discuss that today. Hi, hello and welcome my friends, as mentioned before, to an update video about the ORIS Calibre 400, and a big shout out to the YouTube channel Engineer Wannabe, who was so kind to let me use some of his material he took about his ORIS Aquis he purchased with the Calibre 400, and he actually found out two things which did bother him, and I would like to discuss this today with you. So there are, from my point of view as well, not faults but issues which would bother me as an owner. And if you did purchase also the Aquis and did experience the same or not, I would really appreciate if you comment here in the comment section so that we can discuss this with the community and just see how the movement overall does perform. But without further ado, let's talk ORIS Calibre 400 now. Let's discuss issue one. Issue one was that if you pull the crown, that the minute hand did actually jump, and quite a lot. Second thing was when you have set the time, that also then when you push the crown back in, the minute hand as well did jump. Of course, Engineer Wannabe did contact their ORIS and they told them, don't worry, everything is alright with your watch. Please consider that it's sort of a clutch system. So before you really pull the crown out, you need to wiggle a bit or to move a little bit the crown. This is actually a life hack, so the minute hand will not jump. It seemed to work more or less fine. Second thing they said was when you push the crown back in as well, you have to move it a little bit so it wouldn't be an issue. This seemed to work in the video. When I, for example, set up the time, I never experienced that the minute hand jumps when I pull the crown and as well when I pushed it back in. Anyways, and this is how Zinn does describe it on their website, when you set the time and you would like to set the time, for example, for 10 past 10, move the minute hand to 15 past 10, and then move it back to 10 past 10, and then push the crown. This is how I do it, this is how I'm used to it. I'm not sure whether this is the right way. It seems that with this life hack described from ORIS, this seemed to work alright. Topic number two refers to the power reserve of the watch. Engineer Wannabe did work for 2 days. On the third day, he wound the watch manually, and the watch did achieve about 3.5 days. Well, you could argue about whether he moved or wound the watch correctly, especially you have a one-directional rotor or winding function of the rotor. Normally, if you wear the watch on a frequent day and you're more active, and he described it, he does have kids, I could understand that there is activity necessary. It should be alright, but I will not argue about it. It just could be that somehow the watch didn't wind completely, and that explains the lack of power reserve. So this is difficult to judge. Positive feedback from him is in regards of the accuracy. So the ORIS movement itself seems to be pretty accurate actually. Alright, these are the two topics. I would like to jump back to the first one. So when you push or pull the crown, that the minute hand is moving. I'm a watch collector. I do a GMT Master, I do own a Breitling Avenger. I did own the Omega Aquaterra with the 8800 movement, and also I did operate a couple of times an Omega with the 8900 movement. And the 8900 movement from Omega is a little bit similar to the one of the ORIS, because it does have also 2 barrel springs, well, 70 hours of power reserve and not 100. But there I couldn't find this issue or replicate this issue either. My expectation as a customer is first that of course the minute hand doesn't jump when I push and pull the crown. As well, when I do consider the feedback ORIS gave to Engineer Wannabe, it sounded more like it is part of the movement. And this could be alright. If this is the case, then please inform your customers. I'm a watch guy, I do collect since 2008. But consider like the average Joe who purchases his first automatic watch, goes back home, wants to set up the time and just don't know about the life hack first. he's going to go back directly to the AD and tell him, hey, you sold me a not working watch. From my point of view, I still as a customer would expect that this is not happening at all, because this is a $3,000 watch and I can purchase for a little bit more of the money a Tudor with 70 hours of power reserves and don't have an issue. I can as well purchase for a little bit more of money, at least on the gray market, an Omega Aquaterra with the 8900 movement inside, or Planet Ocean. As mentioned before, in my 12 years of collecting watches, I never have had any issue like that with the movement. Point number two, the issue with the power reserve, to me is, to be honest, a little bit more difficult to discuss. Positive feedback I take out of this is that Engineer Wannabe also did confirm that within the 3.5 days the watch stayed very accurate. Normally, the lower the power reserve is, the less tension you have in the barrel spring. I did notice also with other watches which do sport a higher power reserve that there are sometimes complaints about that they didn't perform accordingly, and that then the feedback is a lot of times from the manufacturer that they didn't wind it correctly, and it's going back and forth because sometimes it's just really difficult to find out what is the right way. For me, positive feedback in this matter is that the watch seems to be very accurate, because a lot of guys didn't like the base as Zelita SW movement in the regular Aquis, because this sometimes has some accuracy issues. Alright my friends, this concludes today's update about the Calibre 400 from ORIS, and I look forward to see how ORIS is going to address this, or if they are going to address this. And I'm even more interested in your opinion. Do you think I'm too picky? Or do you agree with my opinion? Share this with me in the community in the comment section below. As well, do you have experience with this movement, and could you confirm or not confirm the findings with the minute hand and with the power reserve? Again, a big shout out to Engineer Wannabe. Thanks for sharing your experience, and especially the issue with the jumping minute hand is something that would bother me as well. And with the power reserve, I do think you wind it up correctly. So it would be interesting to see and continue being in touch with ORIS to see what really was okay there. Maybe UAD is going to send the watch to ORIS so that they can investigate a little bit further. A small anecdote in the end, I do own the Rolex GMT Master 116713, and in the beginning when Rolex did introduce this watch, there were some problems with the movements too. Also, the Tudor Black Bay GMT have had issues, so it's not just affecting ORIS. Again, just keep in mind, my friends, it's just a brand new design movement, so let's see how ORIS is going to address them. My friends, I wish all of you now a very happy weekend, a good start into the new week. I look forward to see you in the next one. Say goodbye and auf Wiedersehen. Euer Konstantin. Ciao, guys.